So yesterday I get a call from HR, and they received complaints from three officers, saying that I made them feel uncomfortable. Quote unquote uncomfortable. And there's a lot of gray area. You see what I'm saying? Because that can mean a lot of different things, and each officer says something different. Now, fortunately, by me being a professional and me always having receipts, I was able to shut a lot of that shit down. But the fact that I have to walk around eggshells, I mean, I'm on my way out the door anyway. I'm putting some things in place to ensure that, you know, this time next year I'm in a totally different position. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that, okay, so I get this phone call, and one officer said that, you know, granted, out of the two, it was three officers. Out of the two, I only met them once. You see what I'm saying? Like, out of the two officers, I only met them once. And out of those two officers, one was in an area where, you know, there was a lot of people around. And fortunately, the store where I had to do a field inspection on her, you know, I know some of the coworkers. I mean, I know some of the people that worked there. So I called some of the coworkers. I called some of the people that worked at that store on the phone with HR, and I said, "Hey, remember, you know, I came last week and I was doing a field investigation, and, you know, this and that with the officer. You know, could you give a rundown of what happened? Was there anything out of the ordinary? Did you say anything? Did you hear anything? Did I say something that could be deemed, you know, as harassment?" And they were confused. They were like, "Nah, why would you say that?" And I said, "Oh, you know, never mind. It doesn't matter." But it's just a point that, like I said, all a woman has to do is say, "Oh, he made me feel uncomfortable. He made advances, or he did this." Everything else goes out the window. There's no such thing as due process. Not to mention that I'm by the book, but they want me, you know, they had the nerve to say, "Oh, it's how you talk to people." What do you mean? I thought when you sign on a dotted line, that makes you an officer. So you don't get any preferential treatment just because you are a woman. So I'm going to talk to you just like I talk to everybody else. But I had to look at this as a blessing in disguise. This is a blessing because it showed me how I need to operate going forward. Any interaction that I had with a female is going to have to be recorded. Any interaction that I had with a female is going to have to be around other people, you know, i.e. Her coworkers or something like that. So there can't be no, you know, there can be no misinterpretations. You know, I can't do it. I'm not going to have my reputation sullied by some funky ass females. Now, one officer in particular, because I'm gonna be written up for working out while on duty. You know, in my capacity, right? I'm quality control, so I gotta go to different sites, check on officers, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, make sure they're in uniform. I'm a liaison between the client and my officer. So, you know, one site in particular, it was one of the last sites on my stop, so I would take my break there and work out. And one day in particular, I came to do a field inspection, and as soon as I pull up on this bitch said, she was like, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing no field inspection. Cool. I'm not gonna sit there and go back and forth. I said, "Hey, well, you know, do an incident report saying that I'm here." I ain't doing all that, bruh. I just drove off. So come to find out, she told my boss that she felt as though she didn't have to listen to me because I was working out while on duty. Fair enough. But the fact that she carried it, all that wasn't even necessary. You see what I'm saying? Like, there was never a time where, all right, boom. The first time I came out there, right, I had to deal with her because she locked the keys in a patrol vehicle. So I had to drive all the way out there in the middle of the night. You see what I'm saying? In the middle of the night, it was like 1, 2 in the morning. I drove out there, opened up the vehicle. That was that. And, you know, I interacted with her a few other times. But the point being is that from the time she tried to sass mouth me, I stopped going there. I just stopped going there. So I haven't seen her or dealt with her probably like a month and a half. But the fact that they can make complaints when all I'm doing is my job. I don't contact no females outside of work. Even during working hours, it's by the book. It's only something pertaining to, you know, the job. I don't ask none of these females anything outside of work. Nothing. I don't care about your families. I don't care about, you see what I'm saying, what you doing when you get off. It's work related and nothing else at all because of bullshit like this. Gentlemen, you have to realize in this day and age, a man that stands on principles, a man that is unapologetically masculine, he is going to be attacked on all fronts. They just don't like being told what to do. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Never made any advances. It's always by the book. I come out there, I say, hey, can I get your ID? We're about to do a field inspection, and I keep it pushing. That's that. Because I don't feel comfortable, me personally, because of situations like this. This is way before this even happened. I just seen how it can go in a professional set. They're always going to take the woman's side. They're never going to look up things objectively and say, hey, let's come to a reasonable conclusion. It was, oh, this is how she felt. Fuck what really happened. This is how she felt. And I mean, this is just a rant, man. I'm just blind to the bullshit, man. I'm blind to the bullshit. And so this is why I'm studying, you know, the 48 laws of power, you know, law number 4. Always say less than necessary. Like I'm about to be cold and calculated. That's it. Always say less than necessary. I'm about to be studying that for the next few months, man, till I get it, till I have it internalized, because I can't. I got a lot of stuff riding on I got a lot of stuff on the horizon, and I can't afford any setbacks. I refuse to have my name sullied by some funky females. One of the girls, like I said, it was 3 of them, right? One of them, that was the first time I met her. So I'm just confused. Like, I'm confused as to where this could come from. You know, HR, I'm talking to the lady from HR. She said, you know, it's because it's how you talk to people. I was like, what do you mean how I talk to people? So I got to walk around on eggshells now because they're females? Man, like I'm good, man. You know, coming from a military background, you know, everybody, you know, if you put on that uniform, all that other shit goes out the window. But in the civilian sector, you know, like, again, I was in the military for 8 years. So, you know, once I got out the civilian sector, once I got out the military and into the civilian sector, I only know how to handle things a certain way, but it's effective. You see what I'm saying? So I wasn't used to this whole PC. Like, again, I was insulated. I ain't know nothing about this whole PC culture. I ain't know nothing about it until, like, you know, 2014. That's when I started to get back in the corporate world, and I was like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? So to adapt, you know, I put certain measures in place. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to be a cold motherfucker, man. Like, I'm not giving nobody no ammunition to shoot me in the back. This isn't about the females, right? This isn't about them at all. This is not about them. What this is about What this is about me not keeping it player. Now, the silver lining in this is that with me, and watch, if I make another video soon talking about how they don't want me to record anybody, that be some shit. So, I'm like, look, I'm doing this to avoid any certain situations, and now they talking about they don't want me to record them. I'm like, man, so you can't win for losing. I'm standing on principles. I ain't holding nothing back. I ain't running from nothing. I ain't going for nothing. I refuse to walk on eggshells for some funky ass females. No. What do I look like? What do I look like? I'm blind to the bullshit. Blind to the bullshit.